Hi everyone, my name is Karen Vang and I'm a student here at CSC Stanislaus, and today I will be talking about community composting. So recently for my climate crisis class, I was assigned to create an environmental project that could have a large impact on my community. For my project, I chose to propose community composting because last year I had learned that food waste is the largest contributor to our landfills in America. In 2019, about 60% of our food waste went to landfills, while only 5% were composted. And this is a problem because when food waste sits in landfills, it's covered and compacted, cutting off oxygen, not allowing our food to naturally decompose. This no oxygen state is also known as an anaerobic environment. Its purpose is to keep landfills sanitary by cutting off odors and potential pests. But even then, this process allows our food waste to turn into methane gas. When oxygen is cut off, our food waste turns into alcohol and acids, and anaerobic microbes will come along to convert these alcohol and acids into methane and CO2. This process makes landfills the third most producer of methane, and methane is about 80 times more potent than CO2 when it comes to trapping heat. And so from this, I felt very encouraged to compost at home because instead of sending my waste to landfills to make methane, I could instead use the energy to make fertilizer for my plants. I also wanted to say that when I think of how I could make a difference when it comes to climate change, I feel very intimidated because it's such a large problem. But after doing research and practicing sustainability at home, I've become more conscious of what's in my power and understand that fixing the world's problem cannot be solved overnight and that it doesn't have to be done alone. So I have about three arguments as to why our campus is the perfect opportunity to start community composting. Firstly, community composting aligns with our sustainability values. On our website, it says that CSU Stanislaus is a leader in sustainability because we actively incorporate the importance of sustainability in our curriculum and are proud to act as an active lab for sustainability. Community composting fulfills both of these values, and I feel that it is all that's missing on campus. On campus, we're already recycling our water and using solar panels for energy. All that's left for us is to make better use of our waste. For the second reason, community composting is an opportunity to create an educational and community space. And a community compost, community members are able to learn about what I mentioned earlier on how our food waste creates methane and methane gas in landfills. Also, most importantly, learn the multitude of ways of practicing composting. Composting is very hands-on, making the experience very engaging, and it's especially encouraging when you're able to see the final results. Thirdly, a university is where change is supposed to happen. We pursue higher education to discover new opportunities, and through this, I would hope that I wouldn't become another individual to fall into consumerism after college, but instead a person that could use what I've learned here at CSU Stanislaus to test my limits and make a difference. So when I began my project, I reached out to our local waste management company, Turlock Scavenger, because I was able to find out that they weren't composting our organic waste that they collect. So then I was given the opportunity to tour the waste facility to better understand how they handle waste and why they prefer to work with partners instead of composting themselves. During the tour, the director of administration for Turlock Scavenger, Jesse Marchant, was able to tell me that they simply lacked the funding and space to start a composting facility. They currently excel at recycling and preparing and compacting waste to be sent to their landfill. So to ask them to start composting is an investment that would need a lot of consideration of the possible repercussions. But this also acts as a problem for our campus as I reached out to our director of sustainability, Jennifer Daniels, to understand what practices are already being taking place on campus. I was glad to hear that our waste is being separated, but it isn't fully being composted. Since Turlock Scavenger is the main waste management company for the city, and also with the fact that they mainly send brown waste and not food waste to their partners, means that we have yet to find a composting company that is willing to pick up and effectively process our organic waste. Some other notable problems community composting face is following proper laws and regulations as it involves since we're handling food waste. Then, of course, funding and student engagement is another problem. As our university is a commuter school, it's hard to find consistent engagement from students to maintain a composting space without having to find the budget to employ an individual. As of now, my project will be wrapping up in 2 weeks. I have failed to implement community composting on our campus this semester, but I strongly believe that it's still a reality to happen. Currently, we do face a lot of complications, as I mentioned, of finding where funding would come from, what laws need to be obeyed, and from who would these efforts be shared by. Though, instead of seeing this as a failed attempt, I would say that advocating today with you all for the practice of composting is a stepping stone towards the right direction of understanding how we could tackle climate change. Most importantly, I'm glad that I was able to share my hopes for what we should experience in the future, that we would one day share an educational and community space that allows us to strengthen our understanding of how more than one person has caused our climate to reach such lengths, but as well as how we have the capability of learning new habits and bettering the quality of our lives. That's all I have today. Thank you.